Okay guys, I'm back. Here is a project that I'm really excited about. This is my Atlas Master Series Silver Fairbanks Morse Trainmaster. It's Canadian National Phase 2, road number 2900. This is the only one that Canadian National has ever owned, as per the history. I really love the history of this locomotive. It is actually my favorite. You know, I like other locomotives in the Canadian National history and roster, but this one here, I just seem to love the history with it. It was originally numbered 3000, and then it was renumbered 2900. Not sure exactly what the reasoning was for it. I never researched that far into it. But this one here, this is my favorite locomotive I own at this point. I do have others. I have nicer ones. I have a few Rapido locomotives and whatnot. But this one here, this one's one of my favorites, or the favorite. It's a one-off. I won't be able to have a bunch of them running. It's just this one. If I ever do get number 3000, I couldn't run them both at the same time prototypically, because they would essentially be the same locomotive at different time frames. So, that being said, this locomotive was DC. I believe, the second owner. And when I got it, of course, I run DCC. I installed just I think it was a Soundtrax 8-pin DCC decoder, so I can actually operate it. But proud to say that I have a Loksound decoder for it. Now, since none of these locomotives exist anymore, and nobody was able to get a half-decent recording of the 10-cylinder diesel prime mover, the closest thing was the Atlas sound file of the H15/16, 15 or 1644. It's an 8-cylinder prime mover, Fairbanks Morse. So that's as good as it gets until somebody cobbles together something that would sound very close to prototypical. But needless to say, I'm just quite happy to have this with sound. Now, I bought a few of these decoders. I ended up buying 3. I've got 3 installs. And I ended up buying some Sugar Cube speakers. Silly thing with the Loksound, one of the 3 sets didn't come with a bottom piece. You see this set here I'm wiggling, it has the double bottom, the small and the larger chamber, and the speaker. But as you can see right here on the corner, the one below it has the speaker, the 2 chambers, the double bottom, and the single bottom. This one didn't come with a single bottom, which is kind of a pain in the butt. So anyway, I've got to rig something up. But these speakers are not going in this locomotive. This locomotive in the rear has a place where you can actually have 2 1-inch speakers. So I've got a couple of 1-inch speakers here. Get them off of eBay. They're just as good as, they're probably even the same as what you would buy at the hobby shop from Loksound or Soundtrax or anything like that. But I get these You know, they're 1 watt, 8 ohms, 2 watt, 8 ohms, and I get I got 2 of them for like $2 or $3. You know, I got 4 of them for like $4 or $5. So, and it's gonna sound wicked awesome. So, without any further ado, I'm going to take off the shell and install this. Alright, so I'll be back when I have the shell off and ready to install stuff. Talk to you soon. Alright, so I'm back. I have the shell off, and as you can see, this is the decoder I have installed right now. I didn't realize until just now that this speaker is a 27-28 millimeter. This takes 32 full 1-inch speakers. I do have some on order, but they won't be here for a month or around there anyway. And I'm afraid they might be too deep because I got the super bass ones. And there's not a lot of room between this chamber and the side shell of the locomotive, because I imagine the sill basically sits on top of this weight of the frame, so the speaker will stick out too far. So I just ordered some 32 millimeter ones that are similar to this. These are 28, 27. So what I've decided, went into my old drafting kit from college, and I took out the lid on one side and I have 2 points. Use my caliper to go smaller than those speakers, as well as just about 32 millimeters. And I have a hard plastic packaging that came with some headphones, earbuds came in this. So, as you can see, I kind of buggered up and used the diameter of the 1-inch as the radius and had some larger circles. But anyway, I got smart, grew a brain, and got the correct diameter for the opening. Right? So I took the diameter less a few millimeters of the speaker, and I have drawn one in the center. So basically the perimeter of the smaller circle and the larger circle form somewhat of a reducing gasket that I will glue the speaker to, and then I will attach it into that frame, and then I will have the speakers attached. So to get good sound, normally I baffle speakers, but since there's not a lot of room, I'm hoping that the shell and the speaker facing inward on both sides, the shell will actually baffle the speaker and the sound will escape through the underside where the truck is. So here's hoping for that. I'm sure it's going to sound awesome anyway. So anyway, I'm going to continue cutting my circles out, and I'll be back when I get them ready to install the speaker. Okay? Alright, people, I am back. So my gasket attempt failed. It didn't allow enough room to get the speakers in. So with that being said, I just kind of used hot glue to fill in the void so the speaker didn't fall through. Then I just used hot glue to glue it to the frame. I have the decoder installed, and I'm ready to mount the shell back on. So I'm going to put it together and we'll do a sound test. Okay, so this is a late extension to the video. I got the decoder all installed. The speakers installed. I had to reset some of the sounds and factory defaults, but I think overall I'm pleased with the sound. Eventually I will super detail this a bit more with the proper bells front and rear, get rid of the side mounted horns, and put the roof mounted horn and other details as well. But all in all, I'm pleased with this locomotive, so I'm going to start her up and see how she goes. So that sounds like it was a good start. Loksound put in some cold starts, so sometimes that doesn't start first time around, but this time it looks good. there's that. Very pleased with this locomotive. Runs well. I'll mess around with some of the sounds later on, but yeah, I can't wait to run it. Thanks for watching.